US President Joe Biden has spoken to Zelenskyy. He's also with nuclear experts in the United States tracking what this means, the consequences of a fire in that premises and what it means with regards to the reactors, whether this can turn into a full-fledged nuclear accident. We don't want to spread panic. We don't want to spread alarm. India Today has, of course, been getting you all the factual updates from the ground, and we'll continue to do that with this story as well. What you see on your screens right now, the left, is the Chernobyl plant, defunct now, deactive since 1986, since that horrifying, truly dreadful nuclear accident had happened. The entire area now, because they still say that radiation is emerging, that there is very high levels of radiation in that area. You see it completely dead and desolate. But the first thing that the Russian troops did upon their invasion literally was to go ahead and capture the Chernobyl plant. These massive Russian tanks were placed right outside the power plant. With that itself, the intention was made very, very clear that they don't want to take a chance with the nuclear power plant. What I'm talking about on the left is a defunct power plant. On the right, it's an active one. And there, you're seeing a lot of firing being reported, shelling. As I mentioned, Ukraine is saying that this is Russia firing from all sides. The other version that's coming out is that there's currently firing happening between Russia and Ukraine close to the power plant, the result of which is shelling happening nearby as well. All of this is extremely concerning, and Ukraine essentially has been highlighting one word: Chernobyl. They're saying we cannot afford another Chernobyl, and they're even saying that if something happens now in lines of that, of a radiation leak, they're talking about this being 10 times worse than the 1986 Chernobyl tragedy, when, of course, there was a blast and subsequent leak from reactor number 4 that spread. It seeped into the soil, it seeped into the water bodies, and thereby spread across the town of Chernobyl and nearby areas as well. It's a similar situation that will play out if something like that happens today in Zaporizhzhia, in southeast Ukraine. It's on the banks of the Dnieper River. So if there is a radiation leak, and that's a big if, I want to reiterate, it's an if right now. If that happens, it will seep into the soil, it will seep into the water bodies. And we're talking about it having catastrophic effects, not just on one country, not just on some people, but the entire continent, as Zelenskyy, the Ukrainian president himself, has reiterated. Abhishek Bhalla, defense editor, is with us for more on this. Abhishek, just explain to us what's happening right now. How much of a reason is there to panic when there's a fire, not near the reactors catching fire, but with a building in the premises? We're being told the administrative building is on fire.
Well, yes, the building is on fire. That's been confirmed by a spokesperson of the nuclear plant. But it's not clear what damage has it done to the nuclear plant as of now. If at all, there is a spillover, then obviously there is a big hazard of the fire creating much more damage, but it's sketchy right now. The details have just about come out, which indicate that the nuclear plant is on fire, but nothing more than this is known as to what kind of impact has this fire had on the nuclear plant.
And that's something we're tracking closely, because there are claims, there are counterclaims, Abhishek, and we want to get all the facts right on the story. It's got repercussions for the entire world. For us here too in India, we're going to be tracking very closely what happens here at this nuclear power plant. But like I said, claims, counterclaims. Ukraine is saying that Russia is firing from all sides. They're not letting firefighters go in. What's very clear, whether it's just Russia firing or whether it's firing between Ukraine and Russia, Abhishek, is that there's no doubt that when there's a fire that breaks out at Europe's largest nuclear power plant, it is a cause of concern. And the fact that firefighters, emergency response teams are not being allowed in to control that fire.
Well, it's a major cause of concern, and the reports that are coming in, that are trickling in, they are suggesting that the levels of radiation are being detected near the nuclear plant, and it's also important because this nuclear plant provides about 25% of Ukraine's power generation, and that's the reason why things are being ascertained. There are several people who are trying to ascertain what kind of impact this fire can have. Russian forces have been fighting in Ukraine and facing a resistance that perhaps they did not realize, and that's the reason why we are into the 9th day of the war. And there are also several reports coming in of 9,000 troops, Russian troops dying. This is something that Ukraine has claimed. Russia has not obviously confirmed this. There are also reports of a top Russian major general dying. So it clearly shows how the fighting has intensified, and somewhere it seems that the Russian forces are blinded because nobody really expected that the fighting will continue into the 9th day, and we still don't know what the end game is going to be, and this could go on for many more days.
That's right. And Abhishek, the information that we're picking up with regards to what's playing out in the nuclear power plant, the world is watching it right now. US President Joe Biden has had a conversation with Zelenskyy. Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister, has also spoken to Zelenskyy reportedly. And he said that he's going to call an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council to recognize this. Ukraine essentially is using what's happening at this nuclear power plant, Abhishek, to kind of take on Russia, saying that the world must step in right now. They're saying that never have we seen this kind of an attack on a nuclear power plant?
Well, yes, I mean, it's a major concern, and if a nuclear power plant has been attacked, then obviously, the repercussions are huge. And, Akshita, in between all this, there is a lot of information warfare also that is playing its part. There are claims made by Ukraine, counter claims by Russia. Russia is making some claims. All this is part of the information war that is going on in between the battle to show that one army, one country has ascendancy over the other, and also to show that how how either the Russian forces or the Ukrainian forces are carrying out these kind of tactics, and that's the reason why as I said, that we are into the 9th day of the war, and that's perhaps one of the reasons for an escalation of information warfare is exactly this, because nobody really knows where they are headed and what next.
Right, Abhishek, just stay on with us. On your screens, for viewers who are joining us on this broadcast, is the video that's emerged from, in fact, this nuclear power plant. This is Europe's largest nuclear power plant. At the Zaporizhzhia power plant there, you see a shell hitting one building within the premises and then a fire, raging fire in the area. It sparked a lot of concern that we're going to see a 1986 Chernobyl-like rerun now in 2022. And that's what Ukraine has been talking about, saying that this will be 10 times worse than what happened in Chernobyl. Even Zelenskyy, in his video message there that we're just going to put out in a few minutes from now, has said exactly that. Has said that, this will be more than Chernobyl. Just the word Chernobyl he's used to depict the kind of doomsday situation that will face us if things go from bad to worse right now in this nuclear power plant. Let me highlight for you again that this is Europe's largest nuclear power plant. We're not talking about a defunct or an inactive one. This is very much an active nuclear power plant based in southeast Ukraine. Russia has been targeting energy hubs. The idea is to ensure a power blackout, a communication blackout in Ukraine. And this is very concerning that at this point, there's a fight that's happening for a nuclear power plant. So disaster at this point, we can't really call this an all-out disaster. It hasn't happened yet. There's a fire that's extremely concerning, yes, but the reactors at this point are safe, is what we're hearing right now. If this fire rages on, because Ukraine claims firefighters, emergency response teams are not being allowed there, then things will become extremely, extremely concerning. Ukraine has said, the video that you see on your screens there of the shell hitting, they're saying that this is very, very close to, in fact, the reactors. And I just want to show you exactly where this particular nuclear power plant is located. This is in southeast Ukraine. And what you're seeing right now in Zaporizhzhia, Ukraine, it's a very small city where most of the people there are employed at the nuclear power plant. This image that we've just pulled out really from maps shows you the reactors. What you see here, these 6 points, they are the reactors. And what we're hearing is that in this entire complex, this right here is the power plant. It's the largest in Europe. The fire, it seems, has happened close to this side, and that's what we've been able to analyze from the footage as well. Ukraine is saying that the fire is here, close to the reactors, which is why they're saying it's hugely concerning. What I can tell you is that what you see here, the water body around, is also the Dnieper River. And this is what happened in Chernobyl when you had radiation leaks seeping through to soil, seeping through water bodies, and then reaching across towns and cities. There's a concern of that happening here as well. Right now, there's no radiation leak. The International Atomic Energy Agency has been tracking very closely. They're saying that they're watching what's happening. There's been no radiation leak, no high levels of radiation that have been reported. But shelling is constantly happening within this premises. Ukraine claims that this entire complex has been surrounded now by Russian troops and they're firing at it constantly. So they're saying that that needs to stop. Firefighters can then go in and try to control the blaze. We're going to be tracking very closely what's happening. These reactors, as of now, are safe. There's a single power grid system and 3 units of that have been shut down as a precautionary measure because of this fire. I want to reiterate again that the world is watching what's happening. Agencies have confirmed that so far there's been no radiation leak. Let's hope that in the hours to come, we'll be getting you constant updates of this fire dying down and emergency response teams out there and Ukraine and Russia backing off from what could spell doom for the entire world.